Tim's going to share his techniques that he's learned and used himself to make changes in his life. So Tim, what would you say the first technique to get anything done in life that you want to do?
The first technique or tip is to ask yourself why you want to do it. Like, what is it that's motivating you? For instance, when I started running, it was about proving something. So it wasn't for me. It was about trying to look a certain way to the people in the world. I wanted them to perceive me a certain way because I was insecure. So the first thing is to realize, why are you doing this? Why are you working so hard? Why are you pushing yourself? Why are you holding this huge finish line over your head that you think you need to meet, this giant goal? What is that all about? Most people don't know. You know, why do you want the fast car or the big house? You know, why do you want to look ripped? Why do you want to have six-pack abs? Why do you want to lose weight? Knowing the why is the most important thing. That's where you have to start. If you don't know why you're doing it, you're going to be continually bumping into obstacles because you're going to have all this stuff, all this insecurity that keeps coming up that's been driving you your whole life and you didn't know it. And you're going to be constantly disappointed as well because most of those big dreams that we set are not realistic. Because we're so insecure, we overcompensate. We're like, well, just, you know, being a runner is not good enough. I have to win the Olympics. If I don't win the Olympics, then I'm no good. I don't have any value. So we create these really unrealistic goals. Or, you know, I want to be the fittest person. I want to lose 100 pounds. So why? You know, what is it about you that you are most uncomfortable with, that you think needs to dramatically change in order for people to like you, in order for people to think that you're okay and you're acceptable? You know, and you'll see a lot of that here. There's going to be a lot of competition, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Extraordinary people here. What an incredible community. But yet you'll notice that there's all kinds of competition going on. People are trained to, you know, who can eat the most durian, who can do the most handstands, you know, who can do the most push-ups or lift the most weight or run the fastest, whatever. And I used to be caught up in this too, and that's why I started doing these talks. You know, why am I working so hard? Why am I pushing myself so hard? Well, it's training and the suffering. And it's not fun to be an elite athlete. So I had to really check in and say, why am I doing this and what is it that I really want? So that's the thing. Why are you doing it and what is it that you really want? Okay, that's step one. Step two, you want to look at, are you living in the future? Are you living in the past? Or are you living in the present? Okay? Because what happens is most people, that insecurity is coming from the past. Somebody did something to me, somebody said something to me, somebody picked on me, whoever, a family member, a friend, a girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, whatever. And now that has scarred us and we're living from that moment. And we're always trying to overcome that. And so that doesn't ever happen again. You know, I got picked on and I don't ever want that to happen again. That's living in the past.
Yep.
Living in the future is a little bit more fun because the future hasn't happened yet. So we can create all kinds of fantasy lands up there where I'm going to have a 200-acre garden with 6,000 fruit trees and it's going to be magical. I'm going to live on an island and I'm going to have an amazing partner and all these wonderful kids, you know, whatever. Or I'm going to go to the Olympics and I'm going to win the gold medal. So future living is a lot more fun and you see a lot of people do that, but what happens is they stop dealing in the present and that's where you want to be. The problem with the present is it doesn't look like that exciting future, all right? It's a little bit better than the past, but it's still not nearly as exciting as that future. So for instance, for me, when I started the Running Raw project, I was trying to make an Olympic team. So huge, ridiculous goal, unrealistic goal. You know, I was 40 years old. What was I thinking? You know? So what I had to do every day to meet that goal wasn't giving me what I wanted. Because what I had to do every day was go out and suffer. I had to train and push myself and get up when I didn't want to and run 2-3 times a day and lift weights and eat a certain really strict, crazy 100% raw food diet. And it didn't look like that magical future of me standing on the podium with the gold medal and all these people saying, wow, you're great, you're amazing. You know, the day in and day out, I was like, wow, this life sucks. So what I had to do was get rid of that future idea, get rid of that future goal. That doesn't mean that I stopped running and it doesn't mean that I stopped eating a raw diet. What it means is I got rid of the image that I thought I was going to be in the future. Because when you compare yourself to who you are now to that person in the future and you look in the mirror and say, wow, I'm nothing like that guy. I am so far away from that guy. So if you only think and dream about that future, you're okay. You're in a fantasy land and it's nice. But when you actually start taking steps and you measure yourself and you compare yourself, well, the step I took today is nothing like what I want the finish line to look like, then you start beating yourself up, and that's where you really run into trouble. You know, people are like, well, I want to run a 4-minute mile, but God, I'm running an 8-minute mile right now. I'll never get there. Forget about the 4-minute mile. Run the 8-minute mile. Be in the present. Enjoy running that 8-minute mile. Do it well. Be focused and really engage in that process. Like, how am I moving my body when I'm running that 8-minute mile? Am I listening to anything? Am I looking at anything? Am I talking to anyone? Am I smelling anything? Really get mindful and get into that moment so that 8-minute mile becomes really enjoyable and it becomes a learning experience. And then eventually you'll get to a 750 mile and do the same thing, and then a 730 and do the same thing, and you'll just keep improving. Don't worry about the 4-minute mile. As long as you're engaged in the moment, you'll get to a better future. I'm not going to tell you you'll get to the future that you want, but you'll get to a much, much, much better future. And you've been training yourself to enjoy the present. And that's where life happens.
Yep.
When you get to that future moment, it is now the present. And if you haven't trained yourself to enjoy the present, you win the gold medal and you're still miserable because now that magical dream is the present, and you don't know how to enjoy the present. So I got a gold medal, and now what? What do I do now? Living in the past is about regretting moments that you didn't take advantage of. You know, if you're starting your journey at 45 years old or 50 years old, that's okay. Don't regret the fact that you didn't start in your 20s.
Yeah.
That's okay. There is no better time to start than right now. And they call it right now because now is always right. Now is never wrong. So, there you go.
So what was the third one?
Oh, the third one.
All right.
Yeah, the third one, community.
Oh, okay.
All right? Community. You want to engage with other people that are also mindful, that are also engaged in the present, and that are also moving towards a similar lifestyle or goal. And that can be the most challenging part. But coming to festivals like this, the Woodstock Fruit Festival, going to meetup groups, watching different YouTube channels, hooking up on Facebook, connecting, finding a community so that when you're having a bad day and maybe you're stuck in the past or you're dreaming about a future, you can reach out to somebody and say, here's what's going on. And be wary of the people that are also stuck in the past and the people that are also living into the future. And, you know, hold each other accountable, but in a nice, gentle way. I'm all about gentleness and compassion. So find that support group. Because there are days when, you know, it's 20 below zero in Vermont, Fahrenheit, and we got 3 feet of snow on the ground, and I've got to do a 2-hour run. And, yeah, I didn't sleep the night before, and I'm just not feeling well. Maybe I've got a cold or something, and I'm like, and I've got to reach out to other people to help me get out the door. And the way that I reach out to other people in Vermont, because I'm so isolated there, I make a video. For me, making my videos is me reaching out. Like, I'm not going out in the woods to be alone. I'm going out in the woods to talk to you. Because you may watch this video.
And it could change your guys' life, you know?
And it changes mine, because knowing that I'm going to go out into the woods and have a conversation with you is what got me out there. Because you hold me accountable. So, community, huge.
Tim, I have a few questions for you regarding this. I mean, you know, one of the things I strive to do is I strive to, like, I don't know, 80 to 90% in the present, but 10% in the future. Because if we only focus on the present, you know, oh yeah, I want this McDonald's now, I'm going to eat McDonald's and enjoy it. And we're not thinking about how this is going to affect us in the future. Like, what's your take on that whole thing, and what percentage of kind of future or ideas, and what would you say to this?
Okay, well, in psychology, there's a concept called hyperbolic discounting. All right, and what that means is that people underestimate or discount the future impact of something they're doing in the present. And you do this with negative things, and you do this with positive things. So if I simply get up and go for a 20-minute run, I discount the effect that that's going to have in my future. Or if I get up and I have a green smoothie, my brain is going to discount that and say that really wasn't that important. Or if I have a cheeseburger, my brain is going to say, oh, it's not going to hurt me that much. So we discount. The further away something is, the more we discount the impact of something we're doing in the present. Okay, so this is why people make really rash choices, because they think, oh, it's not gonna bother me. You know, that's 50 years away. I'm gonna get heart disease. So what if I get heart disease in 50 years? I don't care. You know, the future, yeah, we'll just discount that. You know, if we knew that if we ate the cheeseburger today and we got heart disease tomorrow, there'd be a much greater impact. We would see the effect. We'd say, wow, I'm going to get it tomorrow? But if it's 50 years away, if it's 10 years away, even if it's a year away, our brain discounts it. It says, oh, it's a year away. I don't have to worry about that. And it's probably not going to happen anyway. Not to me. It's going to happen to somebody else, not to me. So I do think you need to look at the future. But here's the thing about the future. You can't look at it. See, we think that when we walk towards something and we're looking at it, that we're walking towards the future, but actually we're walking towards the past. The future is behind you. You can't see the future. We are blind to the future. Anything you can see is something that you've already seen. So when you're walking towards something, it's because you've seen it in the past and you take it and you throw it up in front of you and then you walk towards it, which is why earlier I talked about, why are you doing this? Okay, are you doing it because of some past-based event? So is your goal based on something you're trying to overcome in the past? So you take that past, throw it up there, and maybe paint it a slightly different color, and then your future kind of looks like a past you already know? Because the future is empty and it's blank. So what we can do is try to create a structure to move into, and that's what I'm all about. I'm not all about painting the complete picture. Give me the canvas, give me a couple colors, and then I'll paint it as I go. But you do need the canvas and you do need the paints. All right, so you need to have the arena that you're going to be moving into. What is that arena? Is it a raw food arena? Is it a running arena? Is it a CrossFit arena? Is it a growing your own gardens arena? Like, what is it that I want to move into? Know what the canvas looks like, and then know what your tools are, know what those paints are. Okay, how am I going to go about painting that canvas? Rather than saying, okay, I want a Mona Lisa in 5 years.
Yeah.
Too specific. You're probably not going to get there. You're not going to like the results. But if you have a canvas and you have paints, you can create your future as you go. But first you have to look and say, okay, what canvas do I want to paint? And, okay, paints, charcoals, what tools do I want to use? Awesome. So yeah, it's important to look at the future, but don't try to predict everything that's going to happen. Because if you do, you're not looking at the future, you're looking at the past. You're trying to create something that's comfortable to comfort something that happened in the past.
Wow. Yeah, definitely some good tips. Tim, any other suggestions for people out there that want to get something done today?
Okay.
To help motivate them?
If you're having a really hard day and you can't get into action, something that never fails for me, and people on my YouTube channel have been implementing this now for years and they tell me it works every time. If the step is too hard to take, that means it's too big. If you can't take that first step, it's too big, cut it in half. All right? So if your first step is to wake up and drink a green smoothie and you can't do that, it's too big. So how about this? How about you simply wake up? Can you do that? All right. Can you pull the covers off of you? Probably. Can you put your feet over the side of the bed? Probably. Can you start walking towards the kitchen? Yeah, I can do that. Can I grab a banana? Yep, that's not that hard. Can you start peeling the banana? Yeah, I can do that. So you create these micro goals instead of this concept, which is wake up and make a green smoothie every day. It's kind of conceptual because there's a lot of steps that go into that. So let's focus on the steps and not focus on the outcome. Green smoothie is the outcome. Pulling back the covers is a step. Peeling the banana is a step. So when I tell people if they're struggling, get rid of the concept and focus on the tiny individual steps that you have to take and take them one at a time. It's going to take a little bit longer, but guess what? You're going to do it. You're going to get into action because each one of those steps is easy by itself.
I mean, I totally agree. I saw Tim talk about this when I heard him talk before, and I've actually used these concepts in my life to get some things done, like paperwork and stuff I don't like doing. And okay, I can just get the pen out. I got the pen. All right, let's get the paper out. Okay, let's start looking at it. Let's figure this out. So this stuff totally works. I totally think if you like this video and you want to learn more about Tim and techniques that he shares, almost daily on his YouTube channel, you can check him out at runningraw.com. Tim inspires me with all the work he's done with the brain and thinking in just a little bit different ways so that you can get, the results you want in this modern society where we're not taught a lot of these concepts that he shares. And that's really, why I value Tim, and that's why I interviewed him today for you guys. So hopefully you guys can start making the changes in your life today and get the things done that you want to do in life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com coming at you from the Woodstock Food Festival 2014. We'll see you next time. And remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.